Hello children, welcome to my grammar class. Today we are going to be talking about the passive voice. Okay, and we are going to be doing active and passive voice for 8th, 9th and 10th standard. Now, why do we need to use the passive voice? Actually, the passive voice is used in everyday language, especially when you don't want someone to know what you're doing or who has done what action. But to understand the passive voice a little better, let us study the active voice. And let's look at this particular sentence. Okay, so the sentence here is he ate the apple. Okay, so if you look at this sentence, first he, let me look at he here. He is your subject, ate is your verb, the is your article, and apple becomes your noun. But this noun is actually the object. Okay, understood? Now if you look at this sentence, he ate the apple, this is an active voice, but now we need to change it in the passive voice. So when you change it in the passive voice, the subject actually goes into the object's place and the object comes to the subject's place. Now how will I do that? Now if I want to change apple and bring apple this side, what am I going to be doing? I am going to be saying the apple, what will I say? Ate is in which tense? It is in the past tense. So what will I say? The apple was eaten by someone. Who ate it? He. I will not say by he, but I will use the pronoun him. So the apple was eaten by him. I have only transposed it. I have changed the object into the subject and the subject into the object. So we are going to be learning 6 steps as to how we are going to be doing this. First we are going to identify the subject, the verb and the object. Then we are going to move the object to become the new subject, check the tense of the verb, conjugate the verb to be, add the past participle, add by shifting the subject into the object's place. He ate the apple. So I am going to identify the subject. The subject is he. Okay, the first step, the verb ate and object is apple. Use the second step, move the object to become the new subject. If I want to move the object to become the new subject, the apple has to come here. So I will say the apple, okay, and this subject has to come at the end and become the object. So it will become him. Okay. Now in between, the third step, check the tense of the verb. What is the tense of the verb? Ate. It is in the past tense. Okay, so we know that this is the past tense. Conjugate the verb be. Now how do you conjugate the verb be? This is your present tense, this is your past tense, this is your future. Present is, are, has, have. Past you are going to be using these verbs, and future you are going to be using these words. These are for be, to be. Now the apple, what will I use? Since it's in the past tense, I will use was. Okay, was. So I am using the word was. That's your conjugation of the verb to be. Add the past participle. What is the past participle? You have learned in the past your past participle of the word ate. Eat is present tense, ate is past tense, and eaten is perfect. That is your participle. Okay, so the apple was eaten, and now you're going to be adding by when you're shifting the subject into the object's place. You're going to be saying the apple was eaten by him. Okay, so this is how you're going to be shifting. Now if it is in the present tense, I'll just change this to present tense. He eats the apple. So if I say eats the apple, what will happen here? It will go to the present tense of the verb to be. So the apple, instead of saying was, what will you do? You will change the was to is eaten by him. Everything else remains the same, only this will change. When you talk about conjugation, this is very important when you talk about active and passive voice, because this is the thing where you will make mistakes. Shifting the object into the subject and the subject into the object's place is not a problem, but this is where you are going to make your mistakes. So the apple is eaten by him. If I say he will eat the apple, so what will you say now? The apple will be eaten by him. Okay, so this eat will become will be eaten. Okay, will eat. Have you understood? So your past, present and future goes like this. Your sentence from active to passive, this is an active sentence and this becomes a passive sentence. It will change only using these 6 steps. If you keep these 6 steps in mind, you should be able to perfect yourself when you're shifting from active voice to passive voice. Okay, so I'll be doing more about it in your PowerPoint presentation. I hope you have understood this part.